Uncovering Political Conspiracies, a journey from 1990s to 2025. In this video, explore the compelling 1997 to 2025 connection in Jamaican politics.
Was the Prime Minister's opponent in this past election. And I've read the document. And when I read the document, I might as well have been reading the 1997. Although the 1997 was a lot more things, but this one has a lot as well. Here's what I want to show you and see if you can make the connection. I'm going to show you one document, and I'm going to give you about, let's say, 15 seconds to just look at this document. 15 seconds to look at this document, and then tell me what you think. Panelists, tell me what you think. Kevin, don't say anything, because you know, don't say a word. All right.
What I want to say, what I want to address, I have nothing to do with what you're going to show. So, well,
all right, here we go. You want to address it first, or you want me to show the document?
No. Well, yes. Let me quickly address this. Eva Dennis, greetings. Welcome to the platform, because clearly you're new. First of all, please understand, and anybody that you're inviting to come on this platform to be a disruptor, distractor, or disrespecter, any of them distinct, this is not a political platform by no stretch of the imagination. It's called a university because we're learning here. And some of the things that we're learning are, everything that we're learning is to make Jamaica a better Jamaica. Not the country that you see, but the people that you see in the country. That comes with knowledge. For those who lack knowledge, we lack wisdom in short order. So we end up doing foolish things. One of the engagement norms is that you participate constructively and actively listen. If your participation is going to be bringing wrong information and asking questions to lead us down a path that we don't want to go, and don't say anything. Few quick things. Nobody on this panel went to Kingston College. None of us. Well, okay. Patrick, yes. You just joined us. That don't count. And, condolences on your attendance to the wrong side of North Street. You probably knew my father, though. But the Rattigan did not go to Kingston College and has never said that he went to Kingston College. And his interest has always been in things relating to law and order. Hence, the career in the FBI. Now, you have two eyes. I want you to open them and look. You can find information. You can Google him, search for him. And if all that fails, reach out and ask him a question. When you assume, you make asses out of you and you.
You and you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Professor. Now, folks, I'm going to show you this document. Now, I had my notes here, and I can't find them because I have so many notes around here. I used to go Meadowbrook. So I'm used to go Balmaji. I'm come from Water. So we're smart. We are smart people. We can't deal with them things because we're prepared, So here's a document I want to show you. 15 seconds, I'm going to count on, and then I'm going to just ask my panelists to tell me, where am I going with this? All right? All 1,600, almost 1,700, calling the friends and family members and neighbors and even people you not talk to. Tell them to tune into this program right now. And as OT and Jonah will kill me, them now kill me, them will love me now. Go like, share, and subscribe, because those words I don't mention them at all. So Kevin not give me the idea. Like, share, and subscribe to the program, people. Here's a document. All right, we went more than 15 seconds. Well, that's all right. All right, now move the document. All right. Who got KC? Who said I don't got KC on the thing? Who okay? Because bright people, let me know. They ask the KC man. Where I go with this, Patrick?
You're muted. Yeah, I find it. Sorry. No, first of all, what is constitute? That's just, there's on top of it. It's a
constitution. It's a constitution.
Yeah.
Sure. No, hold on.
Maybe.
Hang on.
Constitute.
Hold on, let me show you. This is what, 71. All right, let me show you. There you go. It's the Constitution.
Okay.
Yeah? In this Constitution, it's a Jamaican Constitution.
Okay.
But we're at Section 71. So I want you to tell me where you think. And you're not worried about getting it wrong,
No. My thought of it is I'm just probably using my civics for young Jamaica background.
That's a good start. That's a very good
start. What I remember, I made a statement on a broadcast with somebody, and I in talking about the Constitution, I said any member of Parliament, and I made that submission to the Joint Select Committee in 2009 when we're talking about vote for the diaspora, and I've argued against Jamaicans in the diaspora voting. And I use a statement, not verbatim, but I said, none of us would at that time ever imagine we have an African American or Black president. If 5 years ago we'd said that, we said, no, that will never happen. At that time, Barack Obama was the president.
Right.
And I said, the United States has a rule, it's called you have to sign up for selective service as a citizen, even as a green card holder. And if there is a draft, a mandatory draft, and you are a citizen of the United States, no matter who you are, where you are, and your number come up, you are gonna have to go to war or whatever conflict. And I use that to say that because then I said that if any one of us will become MP as a United States citizen, because remember, any MP, all 63 of them, eligible to become prime minister because he has to demonstrate to the government, he or she can command the majority in parliament. That's how we don't elect a prime minister. We have a selected prime minister. That's what the Constitution says, and any legal scholar can debate that. So I'm just thinking that you're saying that if the man that get no seating can become prime minister.
Ding, 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 ding. Hey, get him on that star. Get him on that star.
And then right side of that.
No, hold on. Understand, I'm not talking about civics, people. You understand what I'm not talking about? No. So these are necessary elements for you to know to function actively, not just function, but effectively in Jamaica. Patrick is absolutely correct. Here's where I'm going with it, people. See what it says, and I'll show you. And by the way, I'll show you who the real bro God is. I'll show you, and I challenge all of the scholars. I'm not a scholar upon the Jamaican Constitution, but me can read, and them can read better than me, right? I'm a challenge them understanding. Look at what it says here. This is section 71 of the Constitution. It says the office of the Prime Minister shall become vacant when? If he resigns his office, that's one. And we know that the current Prime Minister is not going to resign. 2, if he ceases to be a member of the House of Representatives otherwise than by a dissolution of Parliament. So when they dissolve Parliament, they don't have a prime minister. When they dissolve parliament, that's what this is saying. It's saying all I will start out with nothing, right? We're running at the election. It says, other than that, if he ceases to be a member of the House of Representatives. No, I'm going to make a special call out now to Minister Tufton and all of the people in the ruling party who are desirous of leading Jamaica. Get out on the long knife, start sharpening them right now. And listen, me never not telling you nothing, no. Because me know not do this already. Because from Paul Buchanan sent that petition to the court. Here is what's liable to happen, people. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the petition. What happened in the Paul Buchanan case is simply this. The constituted authority, and those of you who've been watching, you learn now, you know about the constituted authority. They are the only ones who can bring an election petition to the election court in the Supreme Court. There's a special section they call election court. And they are only supposed to pass on the affidavits to just say, okay, we see in the affidavit that you have made out a complaint and the complaint seems verifiable. So therefore, we're just going to file this action in the election court for you. They are not supposed to determine the admissibility or the quality or the weight of the evidence. They're not supposed to look at that. You know who's supposed to do that? The election court. The court now is going to say, okay, Mr. Paul Buchanan, I see where you say, there was a double voting. Let's have some witnesses, let's do, and then they go through that process. The constituted authorities' only mandate is once a losing candidate approaches the body and say, look, I'm complaining because I was robbed. They're going to say, where are your affidavits saying you were robbed? And once you give them an affidavit and they read it and say, yeah, I was robbed. And here is Mr. Brown who says he's a witness, blah, blah, blah. Only responsibility at that point, their only responsibility at that point is to file the petition on your behalf, because you can't file it on your behalf with the election court. They file it for you. That's their only responsibility. Well, you know what they did in this year's election when Mr. Paul Buchanan appealed to them? They said, well, this evidence is not proven. This one we don't believe this one. Guess who's supposed to do that? The election court. And there is plenty of evidence to back that up. There are plenty of court cases all over the Commonwealth to back that up. And guess what, my people? One of the main cases to back it up is Blake versus Holness. The same case we talked about, go back in 1997. The same argument that Paul Buchanan is using right now. Guess what? The Prime Minister used that same argument in 1998. He used the same argument. He went before the constituted body authority, and then he went to the election court. The same argument that they used. They're using it now against him. What go around, come around. So it's going to be difficult now for a judge to say, well, I don't see it. And I guarantee you, if this judge does it, what's going to happen is this. There's going to be an appeal. And there's going to be an appeal because I've read the thing. And at the very least, it should go to the election court. Let the election court says, we don't see the violation, with the evidence is not credible. That is their province. It is not the province of the constituted authority. And that is the main argument that Mr. Hugh Wildman made this past Monday and in his filings. He said they have no authority to make a finding about the quality, the weight, and the admissibility of the evidence. That for a court, they're not a court. They're retired. Some of them are retired judges, but they're not. I think some of them are, but they're not a court. They're not a court. So here's what's likely to happen, and then we're going to get into the case. Here's what's likely to happen. If, mark my words, people, if, and I hope Minister Tufton and all of the people who secretly desire to become prime minister, I say secretly, well, it's public knowledge for some of them, they're making their plans. Because here's what's going to happen. If the court says the election in the prime minister's constituency is declared null and void, guess what happened, people? You see, 71B, that comes into effect. We have no prime minister and we have no MP in that constituency. No. So guess what happened now? Minister Tufton and the rest of them who want to be prime minister, they now will have to say to the governor general, here is somebody that we believe we have the confidence in to lead the party and become prime minister and run the country. That's how it works. 71B, if they declare null and void, Jamaica can have no prime minister and Jamaica cannot function without prime minister. Now, some people might think that them wise and say, well, we have a deputy prime minister. Well, guess what? That is not a constitutional position.
No.
There's no provision in the Constitution for a deputy prime minister. A deputy prime minister can only exist if you have a prime minister. Yeah. If you don't have a prime minister, that deputy can't act. And it's not in the Constitution.
And the acting prime minister, you can't vote in an active vote.
You cannot.
Unless the prime minister is ill.
Yeah. So if the prime minister is absent or the prime minister is ill, then you can have an acting prime minister. But if there's no prime minister, you can't have an acting. No, they have to get one. So right away, the JLP party will now have to say, hey, we could take a vote, we could get a name, we could get the governor general. Here's a catch. Here's a real brogad. Go further down in the country. It says, listen to this. The prime minister doesn't, they say that the prime minister's seat is vacant when after any dissolution of parliament, the prime minister is informed by the governor general, acting in his discretion, that the governor general is about to reappoint him as prime minister or appoint another person as prime minister. So if them come back and say, well, it's a dissolution, B not really, this one where this one here not really, this one, B, 71A, B, because it says other than a dissolution. And they're saying, no, it's a dissolution. So therefore, we have a prime minister. Well, guess what? The real brogad now under D can say, no, me don't want. I don't want him as prime minister. I don't want him as. And then also look at two. If the House of Representatives, by an affirmative majority, a vote of a majority, say that they don't want, say that the appointment of the prime minister ought to be revoked. Let's say the prime minister say, I'm not going anywhere. And them say, no, you have to leave. And they take a vote. And the majority of the members of parliament say, no, he must go. Guess what? The governor general is going to revoke his appointment. You see what the real brogad do?
Yeah.
The governor general going to revoke, see it right so. Oh, we can't highlight it. See it right under 2. And it's under the broad seal, revoke his appointment. Right? Then here's another way it can go now. If them say we want to get rid of him, right? The governor general can go to the prime minister, and the prime minister have 3 days to say, I'm not going to turn in my resignation or anything like that. What I want you to do, and I don't want it to be revoked. What I want you to do, I want you to dissolve Parliament. The Governor General can't do that. He can say, I'm going to dissolve Parliament. I'm going to dissolve Parliament. You know, you have a new election.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of problems going on here, people. A lot of problems. Because if it's declared null and void, no prime minister. No. Let me show you know where I gonna be the problem. No, my virgin Tigo did that. I said, why I'm not having to already? What Tigo, hold on. Kevin, hold on there. Oh, wait, Kevin. May I look for this? I just hit a button a while ago and I think I'm in election. Oh, here it is. Election. Paul Buchanan. All right. Tigo, don't worry yourself, my brother. We have it up, man. You know, so when I hit round, I say, you know, see that. See that, people. Paul Buchanan and the Constituted Authority. No, we'll skip the legal part of it. We'll skip it. At some other point, if you're interested, people, I can walk you through it and show you what the law says about all of these things. No, look on this. This is where the thing they're complaining about, you know, Mr. Buchanan. Look at this. Double voting, as well as people impersonate, deviation from the agreed transport route. Keep in mind what I tell you. They only need one. They only need one. But they have more than one. They have several. I could go down somewhere. Voter intimidation. And we're going to go down and show you some things with voter intimidation. Intimidation inside the polling station. Masked men jump the fence and come inside of the place. More intimidation. Now I could go down some more and show you some. See, one person went to the presiding officer and said, my ballot spoiled, but him threw it in the ballot box. And then the presiding officer gave him another ballot and him vote and threw it in the ballot box. 2 votes in the ballot box. And we don't know about the first. We don't know. That's one. Right? Here's another one. This is another polling division where them go to the presiding officer and say, my ballot spoiled. But if your ballot spoiled, your ballot's supposed to go in a different area. And so there are procedures when your ballot is spoiled. And that wasn't followed. Them drop it in the box, and then them give them a ballot, and then them vote and then drop it in again. And we have people testify through affidavits on that. There it is. See again. You see let me show you the highlighted area right or so. See where it says again right here. Again, I saw a presiding officer giving someone a second ballot after the person said that their ballot was spoiled, although the ballot went inside the second ballot was completed and placed into the ballot box. That alone is enough to void the election. But it gets worse. Look at this. Some men came over the wall and invaded the police station. So she left. Here's another one where somebody said they saw a large crowd gathering. Oh, by the way, again, just for the interest of time, I won't go through the law, but there's a law in the representation of there's a provision in the Representation of People Act, and it says you cannot have a large gathering less than 100 meters from a polling station. That's the law. Kevin, which part? Let me show them the one here, Kevin. Wait there, Kevin. From last.
That's the Roper Act, right?
Yeah, the Roper Act. The one from last. Oh, here it is. Look on this video, people. This is in the Prime Minister's constituency. Now, remember what I said. The law says you cannot have large gathering less than 100 meters from a polling station. You cannot. It's a violation. That is enough to just say, no, we could get rid of this election. Let's do it over. Take a look at this video in the Prime Minister's constituency. Look at this video. You see the soldier and police, that's where the polling station is, right? So the police and the soldier, them stand up in front of the polling. Is that 100 meters? That's not 100 meters. And Kevin Johnson said when a ballot is spoiled, it is pierced with a pencil and kept in the envelope. It's right. It's put in a separate in an envelope, and then the envelope is put inside the ballot box, so that they know, okay, in this envelope there's spoiled ballots. But that wasn't the case. It was dropped inside and then they voted again. So there's this 100-meter rule. Then there's another one where they were campaigning an election. They had loudspeakers. They had the candidates' pictures. People are talking, carrying on, drinking, rum, playing. You can't do that on election, and especially in front of the polling station or near the polling station. You can't do that. You can't do that.
They're giving out money as well.
What happened? You know, those people have to come. We have videos of people saying that, yeah, but those people are not going to come.
Oh.
The people who said we receive funds, but they're not going to come now. But here's it: those videos will become evidence when there is a hearing in the election court. Because guess what? When you go to the constituted authority, the only evidence that's required affidavit. That's the only thing you have to show. You don't show videos, play audio tip. No, them just say, give it to us on paper. Give with somebody swearing that they saw something. No, I don't think that's a good law. I think it should be more than, because anybody can put on anything from paper, but that's the law. They said the only thing we require is that you put it on paper, and then that.
I guess we need to propose amendment then.
It is the persons were not in a queue. It's where I saw large crowds of persons wearing green shirts immediately outside the polling station and also across the street. That's a video I just played. The persons were not in a queue waiting to cast their ballot, but were gathered in a disorderly manner, making noise, drinking rum, and playing music. That is a violation. That is a clear violation. It is another contingent of persons on both sides of the road, blocking the road, loud music, truck, large loud music from the truck wrapped in green and bearing the image of the JLP candidate and member of parliament. That's a known. You can't do that. Some of the agents, they run away. Here's another one, St. Stephen's Basic School. Lots of people were wearing branded with JLP and the candidate's image on the shirt. They were not lining up. They were drinking, smoking, carousing, loud music, noisy atmosphere of JLP party song, and people in green shouting at people in orange shirts. That's intimidation. That is not going to. Then transportation of the box. The Mr. Buchanan's agent was not allowed to transport the boxes. It was not allowed. In fact, the boxes were given to somebody else who was not authorized to have the box, and they had to follow behind, and they lost for a few minutes. They lost them. They went a different route than the route that they agreed. Let me go down further and say, here it is right here. Along Olympic Way, we lost sight of the vehicle transporting boxes for 3 to 5 minutes. And remember, they went to a place that they weren't supposed to. Initially, they went, because if you read this thing, you see the police escorting the boxes deviated. Here it is right. Here it is right. The police escorting the boxes deviated, keyword, deviated from the route that was previously agreed with the returning officer. And them go up Headley Avenue, down Seaward Drive, down Olympic Way, to the police station. See? And I don't think the police station was not the counting station. And they went there. No, I know this area because I used to live. You see that road that they took? That's right in the heart of the support for the Prime Minister. Heart. And they were coming from what I've been told, they were coming from over a place called Jews, which is the bastion of support for Mr. Buchanan. And also, if you remember, people, as we were watching with 87, I think it was 87 boxes counted, and I think they had like 115, something like that. 87 counted. Mr. Buchanan was leading by a couple of hundred, and then there was a blackout. You remember the blackout? There's a blackout. They couldn't get no report from what's going on. And then when it came back, they said, "Oh, the Prime Minister is leading by 2,000 votes." What was that? Exactly. See, there's another one here. Bungling, unruly behavior. People couldn't work. We have people running. We're running away. See here, right here, as we walked through the crowd of JLP supporters on the school compound and outside the school gate, I saw some of them wearing black ski masks. I felt scared, so I held on to Marsha's hand and looked straight ahead as we went through the sea of labor rights. So all of this is the election court will have to decide. Look at the last set of, this is key, the last set of boxes that I saw leave the school were the boxes polling division 5251 and the one from the classroom beside mine. The EOJ man wearing a blue shirt was putting the boxes in the vehicle that he drove. The EOJ man told everybody to leave. I was going to say, Kevin, Mr. Kevin, you don't have one of them things, but it's a Kelvin, the JLP councillor candidate, was there at the time with him. He said, have the boxes in the custody of the EOJ man and Kelvin. So Mr. Buchanan person was there. It is right there. This is a clear breach of paragraph 4410 of the ROPA, as she was denied access to transport the boxes on behalf of the applicant as the applicant's agent. And it goes on and on. Here, I don't want to bore you guys with it. Actually, it's not even a bore. It's more going through the stuff with. Oh, look at this. This is the case where them use the upshot of the decision in Blake versus Holness is that on a proper construction of 37E, any irregularity which would lead to a substantial distortion or subversion of the process of free and fair elections, whether or not it affected the wishes of a majority.
Share the document. Share the document, brother. Share the document as you read.
Oh, sorry. The upshot of the decision in Blake versus Holness. When I remember me showing that one, right? Kevin, election. Well, let me just show them something in the election. Hold on a second. Is it here? The representation of the people? I want to show them the election petitions. Is it here? Is it in this one or is it in?
Yeah,
It's in. All right, hold on. Let me see if I see it. I just want to show them. Extract. Oh, elections petition extract. See, me can't do without Kevin enough people. The last without Kevin. If Kevin had not done a program. Here's a law. There are two laws that govern this situation: the Election Petitions Act and the Representation of People Act. Now, for this one, let me show you what it says here. The election court shall have the power to hear applications by way of originating motion from the constituted authority to declare in relation to such applications that the taking of the poll is void or that the taking of the poll is not. That is the election court, that is their responsibility, not the constituted authority. And it goes on to, and the beauty about it is that it takes 6 months for them to wrap up all of this. And the election court, once they hear the matter, within 2 days, they deliver their decision. So you see, them not fool around, right? All right. Now here is where Mr. Buchanan is making the argument. It says right here, the constituted authority subject to section 38 apply to the election court, blah, blah, blah. And here are the grounds that the constituted authority can go to them on your behalf as a candidate. Skip it. Let's go to B, because we'll go to the ones where really up. B, that ballot boxes have been stolen or destroyed or have been tampered. And then they go on to say, they have a caveat right here, which says that the number on the list of electors must be more than the difference in the number of votes casted for the person. That's why in 1997, when the Prime Minister won with 150 something, it never make any sense. Because in some of the ballot boxes, he lost by over 300 votes. So that never make any sense. Here's where we go. I'm going to show you the key, the one that they use. They won't use C, because C is talking about where you put somebody on a different, and they're not alleging. Here's one there that votes have been polled by persons who are not bona fide electors, and they've made that out. They say people who voted shouldn't vote. And here is the big one. This is the big one. This is the standard that came out in the Blake versus Holness case in 1990. It says that if you have violence or if you have irregularity during election day in one or more polling stations or polling divisions in any electoral division or constituency, meaning anyway on election, which would lead, remember I told you about that legal term of substantial distortion or subversion of the process of free and fair election. So what they're saying, if you have somebody a vote, that's a subversion of the process of free and fair election. It's not. It can't be fair if you have somebody voting, because they said that the principle one vote, same man, same vote. One man, one vote, same man, same. Me, you can only vote one. You can only vote one time. So this is the one that they're using. No, I'm gonna go back and Kevin said then. No, Kevin said PM. PM said then Kevin.
PM.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the representation of people. Okay. No. Give me the one, Kevin. The one, the X.
It's above the picture.
Just above the pictures. Roper X. Again, can't do it without Kevin, people. Can't do it without Zita. So we show you the law a while ago, the Elections Petitions Act, that says that as long as you have a substantial or subversion of the free and fair exercise of the election, it's null. Just I will show you some of the provisions of this law that govern. Just some of them, not all of them. Did I? Well, okay. Let me show you. All right. No elect. It is right here. No elector shall vote more than once in the same constituency at the same election, nor in more than one constituency on the same day. One man, one vote, same man, same. And we have 2 instances where somebody at least twice. That's enough to declare it. No, let me see what else there. So, and this is the sealing thing where we are talking about. And this is how they return the boxes, which Mr. Buchanan's people are saying that they weren't done. They weren't done. What is the issue in the case that Mr. Buchanan is? His issue is this: simple, whether or not the constituted authority had the authority to determine the way, the admissibility, the quality of the evidence. And remember, we show you the chart that says there are two ways you can go to the constituted authority. The constituted authority can do it on its own. Where them say, we believe that there was impropriety over here, and so them can ask for evidence. Or a losing candidate can, and the losing candidate only have to show affidavit. And then they are required at that point to just give it to election court. Here, 52A. Follow me, my people. Let me draw some line and say, well, see it right. The constituted authority may, on its own merit, on its own motion, or at the request of the candidate, right, make an application under that section to the election court. Hold it clear. And here's what it has to do. If the constituted authority, that body that will the complaint from the losing, it's if they're going to do it on their, nobody's petitioning them. They just look around or they hear that there was voting irregularity. Here's what they do. It says right here, on its own motion, request a returning officer to furnish it with such reports as necessary to determine that an application ought to be made. So this is when them can do it on their own. Now here is where you do it when a losing candidate, a candidate who is desirous of having the constituted authority make an application on his behalf to the election court shall, within 14 days of the taking of the poll, here it is, make such request and shall furnish the constituted authority with such evidence on which he relies. And what is that evidence? Right here, which shall be by affidavit. See it right there, some people. Them not ask for no video, them not ask for no audio, them not ask for no person, nobody will come and testify to them. Them say just put it on a piece of paper and have somebody swear to it, and that's all. And so the constituted authority may determine whether an application ought to be made. So once you give them that thing and them look and them see where you say somebody voted twice, their job is not to say who voted twice, who witnessed it, when, what time did the vote take place. None of that. As long as you put in that application that somebody voted twice, that's the end. They're supposed to send it up to the election court. That is the problem. Oh, all right. Remember I told you, I just showed you the video where people are congregate. Here it is. Subject to the provision of subsection 2, during the hours when the poll is open up on election day, no person shall or congregate or have in his possession any weapon or noxious substance which is capable of inflicting or causing injury. You can have within 100 meters of any premises in which is situated any polling station. See, 100 meters, 100 inches away from 100 inches. You can't do this. You can't. Go down and see if I circle anything else for now. Oh, here's another 100 meters requirement. During the hours that the poll is open upon election day, no shall upon any public road or in any public place within 100 meters of the premises in which a polling station is situated seek to influence any elector to vote for any candidate or to ascertain for what candidate any elector intends to vote or has voted. No, it says seek to influence. No, if you have a big crowd of people wearing and you are come down there with your
and also somebody who want to vote for the first time and not sure, when them say all of that excitement, that's in.
Here's no person shall during an election call to hold or address any election meeting or hold an election march or election motorcade in any public place unless you get authorization to do. And we know them never. People, this thing is just, let me see. The people who jump and threaten the people in. Here it is. Every person who directly or indirectly by himself or by any other person on his behalf makes use of or threatens to make any force, violence, or restraint, or inflicts or threatens to inflict by himself or by any person any temporal or spiritual injury. So them are going to obey you. Them can't say them are going to obey you. See that spiritual injury, damage. Let me see what else they are. Harm or loss upon or against any person in order to induce or compel such person to vote or refrain from voting. And it goes on this. You can't. It shall be guilty of irritation, shall be guilty of undue. Let me see where. All right. Every person who at an election applies for a ballot paper in the name of another person, that's one. Whether that name be the name of a person living or dead, or of a fictitious, or who, having voted once at any election, applies at the same election for a ballot paper in his own name, shall be guilty of personation. The man who voted, you cannot, it's not permissible. Again, enough to doubt on the, oh, here's another one. Every person who is guilty of personation or of aiding, abetting, counseling, or procuring the commission of the offense of person shall be guilty. So if you do it, it's a criminal. Here's every officer, clerk, and agent in attendance at a polling station shall maintain and aid in maintaining the secrecy of the voting in such station. One of the things I didn't show, a person came in and aware that the somebody in the center and the official went behind the and showed them all that people that no. You see how many examples we go and remember. And here it is. Every officer, clerk, and agent in attendance at the counting of the vote shall maintain in the secrecy of the and should not communicate any information obtained as such counting as to the candidate for whom is vote. We don't know if the person did this. Look at 3. No person shall directly or indirectly induce any voter to display his ballot paper after he has marked it so as to make known to any person. There's an allegation that the person knew. The official knew the person. No, people, want to see what look at how many violations. Remember what the law says. And we've given you many. And I can tell you as I sit here that I haven't given you all. By no means should you think that the list I've given you it's comprehensive. No, there are more events that I didn't taught. Because Patrick is here and we want to get Patrick in the conversation and things like that. Gentlemen.
Listen, one thing I always say to people, where I get interest, these things, and my young farmer brother don't know, there's an axe in the body at ends, right about that seat there and the patio or the step, that was called park. And there was most of these guys, element. But when you sit down and hear these guys argue about politics, world affairs, you think you're talking some scholars. And that was the reason why there's a lot of people who grew up through even Desmond Lee, Patrick Harris, all the member of parliaments were part of that. And I said that just my interest in civics for young was precipitated by those guys talking about it. And I wanted to know what they're talking, and that piqued my interest. So I know that book left, right, and out. And when you're talking, Ratty, you didn't mention, there are only 4 constitutional officers in the Jamaican continent. So even the other day when I saw the Speaker of the House shutting down of a constitutional in the government, the leader of the opposition is in the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance and Planning, or whatever they want it, and the Governor General. The Speaker is not a constitution. And so a lot of people just look and say she can be, removed and taken away because the Prime Minister might say, I don't, you understand? Maybe he can't do it this time. But I'm just saying, and that was taken out of the education system many years ago, and that is education malpractice. Because if the citizens don't know their rights, it can be trampled as it is. That's my little take on that. But everything, I'm just listening to it, and I'm like, well, I can take in the different parts of the civics for young Jamaica that it show you these.
Just before the boy made that hurt me. But listen, that's how school is, That's how school is. That's how school is. You come around here, it might hurt you. Yeah. Because we seek to educate before we entertain.
Yeah.
So
Unveiling political turbulence. Minister Tufton's missteps in strategic party maneuvers.
And by the way, the reason why we said that is because we have heard through the grapevine that PSOJ for years, they've been courting Minister Tufton. He's the poster child for them. They want him to be the next prime minister. For years, he's been tripping over himself. Him just can't walk a straight line, Even when they put guardrails, him still not trip over himself, but trip over the guardrails. Him can't help him just can't help himself, It cannot help himself. And so it is making it increasingly difficult for them to show the support and get rid of the prime minister. But here is the perfect case for them now to get rid of the prime minister. Perfect. I've heard through the grapevine that they're quietly supporting Paul Buchanan. And they're saying, because if Paul Buchanan wins, the PNP is not going to get a majority, they'll just get another seat. So instead of, 28 and 35, it will be 29 and 34. They will get rid of the prime minister. They meaning his party, because they want to get rid of him. Because him is just like a lightning rod for all kinds of problems. People are saying salt because him salt up the country, him salt up the party. Look, all Miss Jamaica trip on all broke our hip her, but you don't know what she broke. But
And the soccer team.
the soccer team lose, Fiona Westmoreland, Melissa, all kinds of things that happen, right? So they want to get rid. They would like to get rid of the prime minister. And this way, you see, if it happens this way, it's like, for example, if they came out and said, "Boy, we don't think we have any confidence in you and you should go," it might cause a fight. But if the court says the election is null and void, then they say, "What we are going to do? We can't have a country without a prime minister. So we have to pick somebody. So bye. Good luck." So that's it. So this is the thing about it, people, that we have Minister Tufton. He's coming up, and we went to talk to Patrick now. Like I said, we might not get to Minister, but Mr. Tufton not going away now, because you can't run and you can't hide. Because the drill, we're not letting go of the drill. Why you know that? The security contract, where the 3.1 billion, where Marksman, Guardsman, and another company get for protect, Sarah, Southeast Hospital Authority, when they don't have no equipment, nothing inside for them protect, right? But you give big contract for security. Well, not him, but contract was given for security. And then when they are secure, there's no equipment inside to help the people. We're not going to make that go away. Just like